So let's just get started, right? It is Monday. You can just walk on by because we do it cute style. Monday, the 14th of October, AD 2024, and I forget which mic it is. Okay, thanks. And I'm gonna have a co-host with me. Bigg Bump shall be joining me. Bigg Bump, indeed. Okay, I see it. Nice. So that's that one. What's up, Bigg Bump? How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing fine.
Nice.
I have to see if I can, if I can set this up. Let's see. Supersource. Let's see. Which one is?
I'm gonna have to do that too.
You're gonna do that for me? Okay. Well, maybe. Outputs.
The super source got messed up.
Oh, are they?
So yeah, I'll fix it.
Oh, okay, cool. Nick, the American anchor baby, coming in clutch, they say. We're going to talk about some things. Bigg Bump is here. BiggBump. Commonly co-hosts with Hake. You can find him on YouTube, on Instagram, and on X. 2 G's, okay? BiggBump on YouTube, BIGG_BUMP on X and other platforms, the alternative platforms, and BIGG_BUMP on Instagram. Very cool. What are we going to be talking about this morning, Bigg Bump?
So this morning, good morning, everyone. Happy Columbus Day.
You too. Happy Columbus
Yeah,
Day.
right on. Yeah, let me get in here. There's so much traffic on a Columbus Day. It's crazy to me. So
Oh yeah, it's hardly a holiday. It's not one of those light traffic holidays
at
where people
all.
don't go into work. They
Yeah.
go to work.
I
Most
wanted
people.
to stop and get me a coffee this morning, but I just checked on the maps, and it's like, oh man, it says 1 hour and 11 minutes. Let me just hop on the freeway, man,
That's funny,
and
man.
get here. Let me not do it. But,
Habits.
yeah. So I wanted to, I seen a few things. This happened a couple weeks ago as far as verdict or ruling. The Maryland police, the state police, were ordered to pay back $2 million in back pay to female and black applicants because basically they're not up to par. And they just can't cut it.
So they're getting back pay,
They're getting back pay.
even though they couldn't cut it.
They couldn't cut it physically or
But they're getting their money
comprehensively.
anyway.
Yeah.
Nice.
From the DOJ ruling.
Wow.
Yeah,
Enemy of the people.
definitely. The other thing I brought last time, I think, was the American Dream. People saying the American Dream we didn't get to it, but I seen something else that reminded me of my youth. That it was back in the day that it's that reminder of how America is slowly dying.
Okay.
A company.
Oh yeah, that's true. I saw this. We were supposed to talk about it a little bit
Yeah.
last time.
Right. Yeah. So, and then also with the an American company that's been around forever, almost nearly 100 years, had filed for bankruptcy. So that was another similarity to the Earth dying. Sound like a climate changer.
Okay.
America dying. Also, home ownership gap with blacks and whites, how some people made statements about blacks and their opportunities, and it's just not true. The opportunity's always been there. It's
Okay.
other reasons that cause a gap, or
Right.
the black home ownership being
That's
totally different.
yeah. There was a caller we had. There was a caller Oh, yeah, that works. Nice. There was a caller we had recently,
Right.
and we'll address that caller because they're talking about blacks didn't qualify for loans or
Right.
weren't getting home loans.
Right.
They were shut out of them. What a mess.
Yeah. 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 So those are the topics that I had. Yeah. That's it.
Right on. We'll take your calls as well, guys. Some of you guys already on hold, and we'll read your super chats, hopefully, assuming that I am on top of it. But hold on. What's that?
Use it like you're used to. I think.
Okay, cool. But anyway, guys. Oh. Yeah. Let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3,
Nice.
4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine, and I'm wearing my Christopher Columbus T-shirt. And let's see, Bigg Bump has his LA gear on. Oh, let me not show my
Sir.
screen. Not LA gear, Los Angeles. LA gear is an actual brand.
Right. Yeah.
From the
yeah.
80s and 90s. Yeah, the Dodgers stuff on. Very
Yes.
cool, man. It's good to talk to you again.
Right on.
I'm learning. Thanks, Nick, for fixing the stuff.
It was not your fault.
Yeah, okay, nice. I'm not a total boomer. I'm just a boomer when we'll just say Bill. We'll just blame Bill. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Nick the anchor, baby. Coming in. Making it go. By the way, we are going to be live on Punchy. Not live. We're going to have a premiere on Punchy TV. And we'll also... Oh, yeah. I neglected to get you water, by
It's
the
okay.
way.
Yeah. No coffee, no water. I'm losing right now. It's okay. I'm good.
If
though.
you want, you can drink out of this, but I have drunk out of it.
No,
I
I'm
don't
okay.
backwash.
I'm okay right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. We can holler if you want water.
No.
The help is outside. I just spotted Joel Friday. Let's get to a call real quick before we get
Right
into
on.
these stories. I'm so thrown off. I want to get my bearings here. William in California is on the line. Let me unmute you over here, William. I don't have you unmuted. What's up, William? You're live with Bigg Bump and Hake. How you doing?
Hey, James, how you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Nice T-shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
I see you repping them Dodgers, Big Bump. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, man. I'm doing well. Yeah, they played a good game last night. So,
Are they still in it?
yeah, they won the first National League championship series game last night. They played the Mets.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah. So
Let's go Dodgers.
Yeah, go Dodgers.
right on.
Dodgers
I'm
fans are
I'm
a
a
tier.
Giants fan. I'm a Giants fan, though, but I mean, I like the Dodgers
Nice.
too.
Appreciate it. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Right on.
Giants are all right.
Isn't that one of the best rivalries in baseball?
Yeah, it's been around for a while, right? So, yeah, it's one of those.
100-year plus.
Yeah.
San Francisco
right.
Giants, not to be confused with the New York Giants.
They once
So
were.
they're both
Oh,
the
really?
same.
Yeah, they once
Yeah.
were the New York Giants.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Is there such a? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was no football team called the Giants.
There are the football team called the
Okay.
Giants. They
Are they
played
New
last
York?
night as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
See,
Yeah.
Hake doesn't know anything, but he knows something.
You kill me. No, James, you kill me with your. Is it Mike Jordan? You know who it is.
Yeah, I know, huh? Terrible. What a mess.
Yeah, you do.
I remember the Giants because
Mm-hmm.
there was this cartoon called Gargoyles, and she's all,
Right.
oh, we can catch this this female human being gal, is like, oh, we can catch the giants. And Goliath, the gargoyle, says, giants, and then he freezes up into a stone.
Gargoyle. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He thinks real giants, but it's probably the baseball team
Right.
at the time.
No, the football team. Because
Okay.
that was like the 90s, right?
Yeah.
That TV show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a mess.
Friday, we ran out of time. I just wanted to make sure that, because I was wondering about our friend down there and Rick, David in Ocala, because he's in the middle of the storm out there.
Yeah, Helene and the aftermath.
And hoping that he's okay.
Yeah. I think he's doing okay. I felt like he called in on Friday, but it might not have been.
Right.
He called in one day, Thursday or Friday, and he seemed like he was doing fine, and he said, oh, thank God for your prayers, he said.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear that. What's the subject, Big Bump?
We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. The
You
blacks.
talk about black home ownership.
Indeed.
Yeah, that would be a topic for sure.
It's earned.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I would have to say that they actually owned and accumulated more.
In the good old days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, William. We're gonna dive into this stuff so that we don't run out of time. I want to rush you now so I don't have to rush you later.
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and say that they owned homes and probably accumulated more. Now that they're actually giving home loans to people who don't deserve them.
Yeah.
But black people do have generational wealth and personal wealth.
That's right.
And that's proven. And that's there. It exists.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, William.
Okay.
Take care.
Good talking to you, William.
Take care.
Bye. So let's dive in. I think I can do this.
I keep looking up at this one.
I know. Oh, yeah, we don't have that monitor on. Okay. First, let's talk about the affirmative act. Well, let's first, what do you want to talk
That's
about
cool.
first? Okay.
The affirmative action, Maryland state troopers, I guess police department, they were, let me find it to read a few things that, what is it? They were sued, the Maryland State Police Department, for what they really were sued for was having higher physical assessments and aptitude tests. That was the real reason. So
And make sure you speak up loud and clear so that the people can hear you.
yeah, all right. So the settlement that was reached from the DOJ, well, it claimed that the Maryland Department of State Police hiring process violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, according to the DOJ press release. And they reached a $2.75 million settlement. And it required that the state trooper candidates successfully complete both written and physical tests, which the DOJ alleged discriminate against the blacks and female candidates who could not pass. So people, the candidates couldn't pass the tests that they have. So the DOJ sued the state police department.
Wow. They could not pass the state trooper tests,
Yes.
black and female applicants.
Black and female applicants.
So that sounds like it was both mentally and physically exerting
Right.
high demands.
Yes.
And they didn't lower the standards for the female officers, it sounds like, enough.
Right. Exactly.
Because why should you lower the standards
Right.
for a female officer? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Oh,
Can't cut
pardon me.
it. You can't cut it. The standards are the standards. If you can't cut it,
Right.
you just won't be able to participate, to become state police. Now looking further into it, I see that the reason why the DOJ got involved was the DOJ's civil rights attorney is this, she seems to be a anchor baby, maybe.
Oh, really?
From Jamaica. Her mother and father were from Jamaica. It doesn't specify when I tried to look a little further.
Yeah.
But it said that they were immigrants from Jamaica, and she was born in Brooklyn. That it seems to be, it's like a DEI type thing, affirmative action. That's why I say that. And she weaponizes a lot of things. I took out a few things I saw that she.
What was her name?
Oh yeah, sorry, Kristen Clark.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the DOJ AG for the Civil Rights Division.
Man, what a mess.
Yeah. So, and just a few of the things that she's got involved in. She sued the Proud Boys for the BLM flag.
Oh,
She's
really?
this AG. She's the one, she shut down the Stormfront's website. She supported the first illegal to carry a law license in New York.
This is the gal.
Yeah, that's her right there. And another thing, the Boy Scouts of America, she's the one that helped them come to the agreement of ending the policy to excluding openly gay adult leaders.
Whoa.
So she's been involved in all that. All those, how would you say? What's the word you use sometimes? The not so morally straight
Oh, right.
ways of handling situations. She just deep dives into it. And also the one big thing which makes sense with this article, with the State Department article, is back in 2020, June of 2020, in a Newsweek opinion piece that she wrote, she had a quote that we must invest less in police and more in social workers. And the title of that article that she wrote was Prosecuted Police Killings, Defund the Police, but Be Strategic. So I guess that's a strategic way of suing a police department for $2 million, almost $3 million, for defunding the police strategically. So that was just a little
psycho
off-putting.
woman?
Yeah.
Kristen Clark with an E at the end. Kristen.
Right.
Psycho woman. Shout out.
Yeah. She's
JD. She puts
Yeah.
JD in her. She's into her
Yeah.
Twitter. Her Twitter is Kristen Clark JD. Let's see.
Almost, and that's typical. I'm not gonna say almost typical. That's typical for that type of individual to do.
Oh
do
man,
that.
look at this.
Yeah.
Black woman swearing in with a black woman holding the Bible, and this supposedly black cackling Kamala Harris
Yeah.
swearing her in, the vice president, so-called. Man, that's awful.
Yeah. This is
JD. It's not short for JD Vance. It's Juris Doctorate.
right.
So she's including her accomplishment in her name. Look at her.
Yeah. And she's like
Nice lady.
our age, like maybe
really?
a little older than I am. I think I saw something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
so she's in her 40s
Yeah,
still.
she's in her 40s, late 40s, yeah.
Okay. Personal account. For updates, follow Civil Rights.
Yeah.
So-called Civil Rights Division on... Man, we have the enemies of America really embedded.
Right.
Honestly, I don't really think the Civil Rights Division ever should have been founded,
Right.
but it's part of the DOJ.
Yeah.
It's entrenched in the DOJ. I'm not even sure that the DOJ,
DOJ.
should have been founded,
Right. Yeah.
because that was founded to go after the KKK in the South.
Right. Yeah.
And it was basically kind of like cherry picking, seems like. Kind of like how the DOJ is cherry picking Trump
right.
crimes.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
I don't know. I'm not an historian. But it's true. They go after the whites.
Yeah.
And the Southerners, the states' rights people.
Mm-hmm.
They impose.
true.
They meddle in where they don't belong. Suing Proud Boys. It's their pinned tweet. You're
Is that
right.
the pin tweet? I didn't even
January
know
4th,
that. Yeah.
2021. 2 days before January 6th, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
Suing Proud Boys and their members for the racist attack at the Metropolitan AME Church in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Over a flag. That's it. That's the
Because
the
they
BLM flag. They snatched
Okay.
it and then burnt
Yeah.
down, burnt the flag.
ill-advised. You shouldn't
Yeah,
do that.
right.
But
Right. It's not your stuff. Yeah. Got it.
yeah. But they're just young whippersnappers. They're young, boisterous, passionate, love their country
Right.
whippersnappers. And that's not a hate crime. That's not a federal case. It's
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Proud Boys that I've met
Grandstanding right there.
are decent guys.
Same.
Yeah.
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 Is that Enrique Tario on your IG?
Yeah.
Is
he
it?
is. Yeah. He's on.
I gotta
there.
go. I gotta show you guys Bigg Bump. Bigg Bump on Instagram. BIGG_BUMP. Check him out. Doesn't post a lot. It's just quality, not quantity. Here's the black Cuban Proud Boys chief.
Yeah. Yeah. He was here. This was like 2020, maybe in October.
Oh, this is in LA, huh?
Yeah.
Or Pasadena area?
No, this
Or-
is Hollywood. This
Okay,
was across the
sweet.
street from the Kodak Theater, or in front of the Kodak Theater.
Nice.
Yeah. There was a performance there.
He's a Fed.
Right.
Or
Right.
he was a
he
Fed. I
was.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once a Fed, always a Fed? See, there are good Feds and bad Feds. I'm not saying he's a good Fed or bad Fed or anything.
But he was a fan.
But he was a
worked with
Proud
them.
Boys guy, and I've never heard anything really bad about him except that he,
Yeah.
had been a criminal, and so he had to become become a Fed.
Right.
But it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that he did
Yeah,
anybody any wrong.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was when I first heard that about that story about informant, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And it's like, okay, let me.
He's Cuban. I mean, what?
Right,
They're
yeah.
criminals.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Cubans. They're not all criminals. A lot of them are former communists and then conservative. Some of them turned communist again,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Gascon.
Right. Yeah. I forget about Gascon.
George Gascon
Yeah,
is a Cuban former Republican. Now he's a full-blown communist, anti-law enforcement DA
Yeah.
in L.A.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because I keep seeing every time I'm watching, maybe I guess it's something on YouTube where the guy that's going up against Gascon, I guess he's a Republican, and he's proudly saying, I want to let people know something. And also, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016,
Oh, Lord.
2020, and I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
Oh, don't say that. I'm going to make me vote
2020.
against you.
Hockman is his name, I think.
How do you spell it?
I think it's Hochman.
I voted for this gal,
Lacey.
Jackie
right?
Lacey.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't vote for her the first time. She was the first black female DA for Los Angeles County.
Right.
And she at least supported the death penalty and a little bit tough on crime. I like the fact that her husband, husband, gun, BLM. Her husband pointed a gun at Black Lives Matter because they showed
I
up
don't
to
even remember.
her house.
Oh.
Remember this?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's her Jackie Lacey's
Yeah.
husband. Make him DA.
I didn't even realize that.
See, Black Lives Matter shows up outside her beautiful home. Husband of LA County DA Jackie Lacey, and he points his Glock at them.
I didn't realize that was Lacey.
Wow, you didn't. You're okay, I'm glad I brought this up.
Yeah.
So, and then she apologized. I mean, that's kind of I don't know.
Nah, because I appreciate it when the McCloskeys, the couple in St. Louis, I think in Missouri area, when BLM was surrounding their gated community, came up to their house, and both of them one had a pistol,
Right.
the other had his AR.
Yeah.
So yeah, I back off. Leave me alone.
I don't think he was charged or anything. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a crime. It just seems
Yeah. Right.
like it's an escalation. Oh, I wonder if it did result in him having to go to court. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cross the line. Editorial. Oh, some sleazy LA Times outlet, article, editorializing that former DA's husband and protesters both crossed the line in the 2020 incident. Man, he's on a cane and everything.
Yeah.
Gascon opponent Hockman?
Yeah.
I'm totally guessing. Probably not a good guess.
I think I remember him saying Hockman. Yeah, the ad is just
Okay. Oh, so they had a little debate apparently. What a mess. I hate LA Times anyway.
the worst.
So, wow. That all came from this sleazy gal. I don't know how we got
How
off,
do we get there?
off onto there.
That's how the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we were talking about all kinds of mess going on.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
Right, that's what it was. Black Lives Matter. Yeah. Yeah.
Maryland
so-
police have to pay $2 million in back pay to female and black applicants who couldn't pass tests,
That's the thing.
according to
Couldn't
Daily
pass.
Caller. Wow.
Yeah, the tests were what were they called? I thought I had it. I guess it's right here. The FFAT, FAT, is functional fitness assessment test
Oh.
that required the female applicants to do push-ups, sit-ups, and seated reach. Like sit-ups, a seated reach,
Okay.
a trigger pull, and 1.5 mile run.
According to the complaint, 81% of the men could pass the test, physical test, at least once. Only 51% of female
Yeah.
applicants were able to pass the test. Well, good for them. They
Right.
didn't lower the standards,
Right.
but the evil DOJ, evil meddling DOJ, interfering in state affairs, just like always.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Sick. Get rid of civil rights.
Right.
Man, that's psycho.
Yeah, that is. And then-
Wrongly excluded
There you
black applicants since the rate at which they passed was found to be significantly lower than this rate which white applicants passed, according to the complaint.
and that was
Just by the raw numbers, that's why that you don't even look at the specifics.
yeah,
Ridiculous.
yeah, and that was from the written test. That portion, the police officer selection test.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The written test. Oh yeah.
so 2 different sections, and that was in the complaint. They try to break it down. Only whatever percentage of women or females could pass this portion of it, and only whatever percentage of blacks overall could only pass, things like that, which there's nothing really to say, why they couldn't do it, but they just can't pass it. They
Yeah.
just can't pass it. You can't cut it.
Right.
You can't cut it. So
Yeah.
move along. There's other candidates that are more worthy.
Back pay for something that they didn't even do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They just didn't qualify, but they're getting back pay as though they worked a job that they didn't work. They
Right.
didn't even qualify for it
Yeah.
because of this fake idea of unjust discrimination. When it was just,
Yeah.
it sounds like it was just
That seems
discrimination.
that way to me as
justified.
well. Yeah. There's no other way. There's no other way at all to put it. You pass or you fail.
Yeah.
And as simple as that. Yeah.
And that's over in Maryland. Is
That's
that Maryland?
in Maryland. Yes. Yeah. Maryland State Police Department.
Wow.
Maryland Department State Police, I think that's what specifically.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Psycho.
Really. It's unbelievable.
That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think it really is. I think it's as ridiculous as it sounds. A lot of the times they will just come up with some justification that makes a reasonable person be like,
Oh, right.
okay, well, okay, maybe a little bit. But this doesn't sound reasonable at all.
Right.
And that's how the blacks and the females and the gays and all them do it. They're even more off the deep end than the more slick communists, you know? Because the slick communists find ways to fool
Yeah.
a lot of conservatives.
Right. Right.
Ah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can see that quite often. You
Right.
know, you notice it with different individuals.
The
for
ones
sure.
with the higher verbal IQ, you know? Because it has to make sense to them a little bit too.
Yeah. Right.
I think
Right.
they
right.
like it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But this one, it doesn't even have to make sense. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that, like I said, I wrote specifically affirmative action activity. This is how it comes into play. And you know, this lady, the Clark, the way she moves is communist also.
Right.
You know, all her little tactics are.
Yeah, it's like very, you know how we talked about selective enforcement?
Mhm.
It is totally shameless.
Yeah.
I remember the Obama administration being kind of like this.
Yeah.
Congressman Steve King,
Right.
he
right.
rattled off, there was this, it was classic to me, where he just rattled off for 5 solid minutes all of the prosecutions and targeting of the opposition, the whites, the pro-patriot people, the Tea Party, the independent thinkers, and then nothing against the blacks, the liberals, the radicals, stuff like that.
Right.
And that's how is to this day, really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Even
accelerated
under the Trump
in your
administration.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They found their way to get in and stay like a stay along, like a tag along.
Entrenched.
Yeah. There's a lot of those from
The
that.
bureaucracies.
Yeah. They were just although some were there for years, they just followed behind that regime, and I'll use the regime, the communist word, and just keeping along with what happened then.
This is why we need Project 21. What's the project?
25.
25.
Yeah, everyone's scared of it. I mean, a lot of people are scared of it, but that's I'll take it.
Yeah, me too. I
Yeah.
mean, I know that Trump disavows it,
Right.
and I know that there are a bunch of like normies, which I'm fine with normies. Like if you're based,
Yeah.
if you're a based normie, I like, or even if you're just a normal normie,
Yeah.
but have a strong foundation, which means you're based.
Right. I mean, it's America first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason I say we need Project 25 is because it's about replacing the bureaucracies in part, I think, as I understand it, with instead of being 95% liberals, have them be filled with some Trump supporters. If it's Trump supporters, if Trump is in office, it shouldn't be people who undermine him.
Right. Yeah.
Openly or behind his back,
Right.
who are in the executive branch.
Yeah.
The executive branch is supposed to be the president,
Right. Yeah.
but they want to say, "Oh, our institutions." These institutions weren't institutionalized by the founders, were they?
No. The founders wanted very small,
Right.
very, very small. This is
And they say, "Oh, our
supernova.
institutions, the DOJ."
Yeah,
That's not
no.
our institution.
No.
I don't know what good they've done.
Right.
Really.
They've
You can
caused
see,
a lot of
they
headache.
catch some child sex traffickers sometimes. It seems they're selective even with that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know why? Because there are certain people that you don't hear about until the very last minute.
Yeah.
It's like they almost know this person's about to pass away or something. You get a story about this guy
Right.
or whatever, this female.
When it doesn't
whatever.
matter anymore.
Yeah, when it doesn't
The
matter
damage is
anymore.
done.
Yeah. So they go. It's selective of who they
Yeah.
attract. There has to be people embedded with that deal with those type things that are functionally involved,
Yeah.
and because that's the only way they're going to find out these links. And also, it's happening right now. There's 300,000+ kids that are unaccompanied minors or whatever
Oh, yeah.
throughout the country that And
Obama was letting them in like crazy.
yeah, and it's
Trump was protecting them by separating them.
yeah, right,
from
right,
their
right.
so-called
Because,
families.
Yeah, they weren't their families exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely a total difference. It's night and day of who you can see who wants to do something about it.
Yeah.
Because the current administration, they're letting it happen.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
On purpose.
On purpose.
And you said that the government is small because, and as Chase in Texas is saying, the government is always corrupt. Government is always corrupt. Yeah. Human beings are always corrupt. I heard a line on a TV show that I was watching the other day. He was asked this question way back in the 1920s, right? And it was a fictional thing, but it was based on enforcement of prohibition. The DOJ is undermining you or holding you back. Is this gross incompetence or rampant corruption? And the guy answers, human nature allows ample room for both. Gross incompetence and rampant corruption.
Right.
And that's what we have.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
that is human nature.
Yeah.
It's not like we can judge the government as if we're not corrupt too.
Yeah.
But that's why you want that small government.
Right. Yeah.
So that they're not unaccountable.
Right.
They're not accountable to us. You and I can't confront them.
Right.
They won't care about us.
Right.
They'll call the police on us and call
Definitely.
us insurrectionists.
Yeah.
If we get a little strong worded.
Say a little wordy, a little mouthy. Yeah. Yeah. Just something simple as that.
Right.
And it's time to hold up the prison.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's out
Terrible.
of control for sure. Too big.
Yeah.
Too big.
You want local control.
Yeah.
They trick the blacks into trying to appeal to a higher authority.
Yeah.
But they're appealing to worldly authorities.
Yeah. I noticed something. It was something I noticed recently. It just hit me and it went away. But right before you even said blacks. But I guess I'll just say the Bill of Rights was basically good enough. That's how, small. I know people will say, oh, the 13th Amendment.
What's the 13th?
That's if I'm not mistaken, that's the either 13th or 16th. Which one? I get 3s and 6s confused sometimes. The slavery, that type.
It's probably the 13th.
13th, right.
Because the 14th allowed them to vote.
Okay, so 13th, yeah.
Allowed them to be citizens.
The indentured servitude type thing. 13 was 16.
I'm not sure.
You don't know?
I don't
Okay.
know.
See, I get them confused. 13, 16. I want to wrap them around.
16th Amendment. I think that was, income tax. That was Wilson.
That's why.
That was
Okay,
evil
okay.
Wilson.
And I put 13 with 1913. So I'll mix them up.
Oh, right.
Okay. So right on.
Yeah. Look at all those amendments that they did. The Federal Reserve was an amendment, right?
Right. Yeah.
The
that would be part of the 16th. In a sense, it would be part of the 16th with the
17th Amendment was this direct election of senators, was that?
I don't know, but you've been mentioning that, I think, lately also.
Yeah.
Where
I covered it when I mentioned Bill Lockwood and
Okay. Yeah.
and what's his name? Woodrow Wilson. He was a communist, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's a comic, for sure. And the Mandel House, all that little group.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, government is way too big, for sure.
Pretty evil.
Yeah.
Lucky Larry says, McCarthy was right, except now we're not merely infiltrated, we've been captured. Not conquered yet, though, because we can still fight in the right way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I agree. I one time, the McCarthy thing, I was like, man, he was definitely onto something.
When he was,
Yeah.
when they call it the Red Scare.
Yeah, yeah. He definitely was onto something. He had to see something.
Yeah.
Because it's relevant
For sure.
more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder whether he did it in the right way or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really, I don't know history.
Yeah. As I look back, like you said, looking back on history, you get a different perspective on people.
Right.
When so like that, I really don't know what to think of McCarthy itself. How he did it, but as of right now, it seems he was onto something. Now,
Yeah.
that may change. There may be something that comes up, that changes my mind on it. But right now, I know for sure that he pretty much was doing something. He had the right state of mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Something told him.
There was blacklisting of communists, and now they blacklist non-communists.
Yeah.
Basically, anybody who's not
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's not a far left liberal, you get blacklisted.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
It's backwards.
Honey.
Okay, we have a couple of calls here. And we have probably some super chats. I think we have. Yes, sir. Terry bought a coffee over here on buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report. I made a little thing so that you're in the corner. You're like smaller than me. I wonder if I can switch. Ah, darn. What did I do? Never mind. Okay. Over on buymeacoffee.com/the Hake Report. Several different coffees, actually. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
That's an essay.
Yeah. Okay. Matthew on YouTube, thank you, sir. He said full moon werewolves. Not sure when that was. Hake, I never asked. Someone says, Hake, I never asked you for anything in my life. When you get a chance, are you able and willing to give a Conor Oberst song a listen? I've heard of that guy. It's just solid, man. Think you'd appreciate it. You all loved him once. 100, 100. Thank you, man. I have put it in my to-watch list. And I actually have sometimes watched some of those, so thank you, man. C-Bill is now a member. Thanks. Keep up the great work. Okay, this is a long one. Popcorn's Thump Keg. By the way, Popcorn's Thump Keg, did you check it out?
I checked it out.
Yeah, we checked out the song. We both checked out the rap song that you shared with us. I liked the fact that it was short.
Yes.
That was nice. It didn't drag.
Right. I immediately like the song because I like when rappers sometimes go the whole length of the song just rapping, no chorus or hook or anything like that. So that attracted me immediately.
Nice.
And it wasn't full of mess. So
Right.
I get why he sent it over.
Yeah, me too. It was talking about a man's life.
Yeah.
So that's cool. No father, mother was on cocaine or crack or something like that. Couldn't sacrifice for me. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Very nice.
Yeah, thanks.
He cussed, so I can't play it for you guys. But we showed it to you on Friday. Here's a synopsis of a typical political conversation these days, says Popcorn's Thump Keg. To illustrate what I've learned, termed as brain rot, Jim says, hey, Bill, you seen how terrible the stock market's doing? It's unreal. That's Bidenomics for you. What? You actually seen the stock market? Record high after record high? And the last jobs report was way better than expected. They always adjust it down, though. Artificial numbers. So where are you getting your information from? Well, these liberal outlets, you can't trust what they're saying. So the stock market data isn't accurate? Well, the stock market is only doing as well as it is because of the anticipation that Trump's going to get elected. Perplexed. So the stock market's actually doing well? Yeah, but it's a big mess. Bill, so a second ago you said the stock market was bad. Now you're saying it's actually doing well, but because of anticipation that Trump's going to get elected only? Yeah, the stock market doesn't really matter. No one cares about that anyway. In the span of 5 minutes, Jim has made 3 different arguments and twisted himself into a logic pretzel, the likes of which no one has ever seen, as Trump would say. Is that a real conversation that you've heard, Popcorn Stump Cake? Because I don't know who talks like that. Some people do speak out of sort of ignorance, or they don't necessarily know exactly what's going on, but they know something's wrong. So, for example, the economy is a mess, and that's undeniably a mess. And so, for example, JLP said today, Christopher Columbus founded America, but he discovered it, and he found it, but he didn't found it. Founding is when you establish a country or establish something.
Right, yeah.
And he founded probably some colonies, maybe, right?
I'm not sure.
but it was not the United States.
Right.
And, you know,
That's for sure.
oh, he
That I do
founded the
know.
greatest country on earth, but he didn't even land in the States proper.
Right.
But he still was responsible for discovering it so that we, the Europeans and Englishmen, can actually come here and make it happen. Anyway, and JLP was right, even though he had some of the facts a little off. Anyway, so you call that brain rot? I don't think it's necessarily brain rot. It's just sloppy thinking. You don't look down on Jim, this fictional Jim, popcorn stump cake. It's not necessarily brain rot. It's just that he doesn't know exactly what he's talking about, but he knows broadly what he's talking about, right?
Right. Yeah. People, like you said, people do have that sense. They know something's wrong.
Yeah.
They probably can't pinpoint or articulate it, but they know something is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll say it wrong, and they'll say stuff that's factually wrong, but they're on the side of truth. And, yeah, and he's kind of right that nobody cares about the stock market, except for the people who are in
Into
stocks.
right.
Or the people who have a stake in those companies, which is to say they have stock. Sort of. Thank you, Popcorn Stump Cake. Boulevard 5 Coffees, no message. Happy Columbus Day, Hake, says Terry. He wasn't white enough to be hated. He was white enough to be hated, even though he was Italian. Or he was Sephardic Jew. Did you hear that?
I heard that on the way in. Yeah, that was...
And he was white
Is that
enough to be
right?
played by a black dude on TV. Is that true?
I don't know.
That's interesting. A lot
that's
of
funny.
Italians they have some color to them.
Yeah, they're very close to that other continent.
Moors. Barf Boy bought a coffee. I can usually catch a show through podcasts, only catch a show through podcasts while I'm working. But today I'm able to watch it live. Can we celebrate the occasion by hearing your Chewbacca impression? I don't know.
What?
Sorry, Big Bump. Did that on the one episode that you... Nick, the anchor baby, told me that I have to roll my tongue, and that's how he did it. I thought that he did it in the back of his throat. Anyway, thank you, guys. We are live on Rumble. Let me just check the Rumble stream. And then we'll get back to topics, stories, your calls. Oh, come on. Yeah, so look at these people over here. The beautiful Rumble crew. Pardon the tech companies with products not made in America. Hake, they don't know what they are talking about. Democrats point to the stock market to say the economy is doing good instead of looking at things like price of energy, inflation, housing costs, food costs, you know, the normal boop that people, well, I guess I don't need this. Don't read, kids, that people use to determine if an economy is doing well. Exactly, Jules Verne. I knew that you knew your stuff. Wow, cool. It's showing, oh, that's what happened. I knew that you knew what you were talking about. And over on the D-Live crew, the people over there. What's up, D-Livers? Nice to see you. Anyway, we got to keep it moving. Let's get to a call, shall we?
Right on.
Matthew in New Jersey. I mean, not Matthew. Sorry, Matthew. I will get to your call. I'm seeing Matthew, but Ray in New Jersey is on the line here. Ray, are you there? Are you ready to talk to Big Bump and Hake?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much. How about you?
Good. Was just called Matthew, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing you've ever been
It's
called.
not
hopefully.
the worst name. Yeah.
My bad.
But yeah. It's kind of a question, kind of like, but I mean, you're talking about politics today, and you know all the whatever, and you know communism, and you know, it's I just wanted to ask, like, do you think, like, you know, not, I mean, it depends obviously from person to person or whatever. And, you know, it's completely, we're in the most diverse country in the world probably. But do you think the average American, do you think they really care if the country comes back or not? That's my question.
Interesting question. The average American. No.
Yeah, you know, like, no?
I don't think the average person even really knows
Right.
that the country's gone.
They don't even know, right?
Yeah, I think it's maybe a third of the country knows something's wrong. Maybe half the country
Right.
knows. I mean, there's a lot of people who think the country's wrong. Even the liberals and the communists think it's wrong, but they want it to go in a worse, even worse. So
Right.
yeah, and they have hope for, you know, Satan to take full control. So
Right, they have hope that, yeah.
yeah, I always think of the country as being kind of thirds. The third is the remnant. It's in the Bible. I don't know. That's probably where I got it. The remnant is the 30%, 33%.
Yeah, because I would say, I've been around the world, and nobody tries. I've really yet to see like a person really try.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, well, let me put it this way, like, you know, Jesse always talks about the order of God or whatever, and, you know, man above woman, woman above children, children, whatever. And, but I really have, I understand the principle. I've heard people say it before, but I've never seen, I haven't seen, you know, like a proper family, like a proper love, and it, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just maybe because I live in like the Northeast or whatever, and it's just, you know, the city area or whatever. But it's like you don't see the order anymore. It's like the order's gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or does that make any sense? Or like
for
example, I'll see husbands with their wives, but it'll be the husband, you know, pushing the kid in a stroller, you know, it'll be whatever, and he's talking to the wife, yeah, and you know, it's, and I ran 60 miles in a week. So that, you know, cumulative. So one day I did like 20 miles. The other days I did 5. And I don't want to judge people because I understand, but there was not a single man I saw, you know, if they had a baby, if they had a kid or whatever, you know, they weren't carrying the kid. They were pushing him in a stroller. The wife was, or it was a single mother. You know, single mother with the kid.
Right.
And I saw maybe like 400 people, like literally like so many, you know, because it's a city. You see people on the street, you see the family.
Yeah.
But I did not see a single man correcting, you know, his wife. Or, you know what I'm saying? Because there's I don't know, like Jesse will say, like, you know, like that's beta, like pushing the kid in the stroller or whatever.
And it is.
And it is. No man wants to do that. Every man wants to carry his kid. Every man wants to, yeah. And it's just, it's clearly, and you can look at the guys when you see them pushing the stroller. It's sad, but you see like a part. It's like a piece is missing. It's like. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a piece is literally missing. It's just like an incomplete picture in a sense. I mean, obviously that's better than you know, the single mother stuff going on right now, but it's Yeah, I don't even know if the Republicans want it. Like, if you know what I'm saying? I don't even think the Republicans, either they don't know or they just don't. They would rather just listen to Mama.
Yeah, even the Christians, even the conservative Christians, many of them fall for this stuff.
They're the worst with it because they're the most hypocritical about it because they know every piece of the word. They know, they can quote the scripture, they can whatever, but they're just listening to Satan. So, it doesn't. What's the use? It's totally just in vain. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen to this country? Do you think we're going to end up like with the Berlin Wall, or what do you think is going to happen?
I don't see a Berlin Wall coming up, but I do see. I anticipate just an ever increasing. You know how we're kind of a house of cards. I think we're just going to kind of collapse and collapse and collapse and collapse in different ways, and people will just kind of be used to it, and then they'll just. In many ways, we're
take over.
In many ways, we're going to suffer. What did you say? The criminals are going to take over?
And just like criminals, and the illegals are just going to take over, right?
That's what I think. And and they won't know how to keep up this stuff. The people who are in charge don't know and don't care to keep the quality going. So I think it's going to be on decline. I think it's just going to be decline and infighting and division and destruction. That's what I say.
It's so crazy. I've worked so many different types of jobs and different types of, and it's just so nothing ever seems to work. It's always division. It always just seems like egos and egos and egos and. Oh, it's not about, making the customer happy. It's more about, how can I get this promotion? How can I look, good in front of my manager?
So true.
Et cetera, et cetera. But at some point, like these buildings, the pipes in the ground, isn't it going to, break down? And
right.
Nobody wants to. There are no electricians, there's no plumbers, there's no anything. And there's no construction workers, nobody wants, who can blame you? I was watching a UFC fight. It was two girls fighting, whatever, beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
And the girls got paid $500,000 for a fight. A construction worker, a guy who builds bridges in New York, New York City, who builds the tunnel or whatever, they make $40K a year. If you're union or you might get worse. It might be better. You don't know, right? But where's the incentive?
Yeah.
The incentive is, I'm going to train to beat people up. So I can make. There's no incentive, And another thing, Jesse says this a lot, but I'll tell people it's bad advice. Don't tell Jesse this, but he goes, you should open up a small business. If you don't want to whatever, you should open up a small business. Well, if you want to make money, if you're just in it for money and you're not really like passionate about it, like you guys are at Bond or whatever, if you go. The average employee, whichever, anywhere on the world, if you take a random employee, on average, they pay about 40% of their income in tax. So, 40%, that's average across the world. If you live in Asia, but if the average small business owner, so, like under 10,000 employees, whatever they say, is they pay on average 65% of their income in tax.
Wow. Brutal.
Isn't that insane? They almost pay 70%. And that shows where the incentives lie. Where's the incentive? Well, the incentive is, what do they talk about all the time? You just talked about it on your show. they go, oh, well, the stock market's doing well. So,
Yep.
but the stock, who's invested in stocks anymore?
Ray,
The
I
only
got to keep
people
it
who are-
moving. It's good
I'm
talking to you,
sorry, I'm
man.
sorry.
I appreciate your
I was
rant,
rambling a little.
but I can definitely
just-
sympathize with your. Are you
Yeah,
distraught?
no, I'm not distraught or anything. I'm not upset about it. I
Okay.
understand how it works. I'm just saying that I feel like the incentives of the system too much rely on just borrowing money, and because
Yeah, I
We're
got to
just-
run, Ray. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Take care, man.
appreciate you.
All right, call me
Sorry,
again.
Thank you.
All right, bye. Brutal.
He made some points.
Indeed, he
Yeah.
did.
I was going to say that nothing's going to change until the order comes back, and there's no order. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be with the other story I brought up is like the decline is just going to slowly decline.
Right.
All the war, the
Make sure you speak up so you come
Yeah.
across loud and clear.
Sorry, I'm getting too lax. I need to be aware of what I'm doing. Yeah, the atmosphere will be everywhere while America keeps declining.
Yeah.
All type of things going to keep happening. So yeah,
Disorder.
disorder for sure. Yeah,
Men not running the show.
yeah,
And then you can fix all those things.
right.
I still think running your own business is better, even with, let's say, you get taxed through the nose.
Mm-hmm.
You still have more dignity, more freedom, more independence than if you're at the mercy of some employer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I think it's still worth it to do it.
Yeah. Even at a small
'Cause
scale.
everything isn't money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have
Time is more important than money, although you do pour tons of time.
tons of time. Yeah. I can't give my all into what I do on the side
Right.
because of things like that.
Yeah.
And I would like to, but it's just not efficient for me. I can't be efficient when I don't have the time to do it, and all that. My job won't allow me at times to do
Yeah.
what I need to do on the side.
Yep.
Yeah, it can get quite ugly because it's tough. It's tough. The economy is tough.
Yeah. It's brutal now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a backwards economy.
Mm-hmm.
BIGGBUMP. Thank you, Ray. I just had to cut it off because we have a lot of stuff to get to. Had to keep it moving. I appreciate your call. Forgive me for rushing you off.
Shout out to Ray.
Let's talk about America's slow death,
Yeah.
shall we?
Sure. Yes.
Tupperware. Go ahead.
Like when they say nostalgia, that Tupperware is nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
I just it just reminds me of all the things from dinner to playing outside with friends, coming back home to see the Tupperware on the table or on the counter and things like that. So something like Tupperware filing for bankruptcy, not able to restructure any type of way, failing at all costs, just it's not working out anymore like it was. That shows me how, and I should have sent you another article because that Bloomberg one is
It's a paywall.
restricted. Yeah,
That's all right. We get the headline. That's all that matters.
yeah. Okay,
You have info, right?
yeah. I had
I can search for the archive.
the Yahoo one.
I didn't get to look for the archive yet. Don't do this. Don't do as I say, not as I do, kids. I wonder if it's here. If it's available on archive. Nope.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so I have a different one from Yahoo Finance. When I realized,
Okay.
tried to open that one, I used a Yahoo Finance and I just didn't send it to you.
No problem.
My bad. Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying that this this is the America that I remember existed, and that I love now, but then I loved back then as well. That that now it's dying, and it's Tupperware is going away, and not able to build itself back up. It's like America not building itself, not being able to. There's like the Chapter 11, like I'll say, like Trump coming in to try to restructure it, but
Yeah.
once he's done, will someone else come along to help out, or will it just keep going, deteriorating and deteriorating? And that's why I say it's a slow death as well. And like JLP says that America is gone. Little things like this, like a company that's been around forever, for me forever, for other people not so much, but to see it lose out is synonymous with America. And
Tupperware is the plastic containers for food.
yeah, that's
Tupperware Brands Corporation.
and
Filed for bankruptcy.
yeah,
Brutal.
Chapter
80-year-old company, by
right,
the way.
right. What does it say? So the filing, which was in the Bloomberg report, and this was September, mid-September of this year. Protracted negotiations between the company and its lenders over how to manage more than $700 million of loans, so $700 million in debt. And they tried to restructure. They had an uptick during COVID because people were staying home and needed to save the food here and there. Yeah,
Yeah.
It says
People were tightening their belts and eating their leftovers.
And
Home cooking.
and they just couldn't turn it around after 2020. And also right here after that, by 2022, the company still relied on direct sales from over 300,000 vendors, but shoppers were increasingly buying similar and often cheaper products.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Amazon, it says here, Walmart's.
An army of 300,000 amateur vendors. Okay, yeah, because I kind of knew that. Avon,
Yeah. There's
Tupperware.
another.
People would go
Right.
door to door
Yeah.
and sell you products.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And they would make money, and so would Tupperware.
Right. And it just,
And they didn't have the overhead of owning a store.
building. Yeah. Right. Right. Brick and mortar or something like that. Yeah.
If you bought it from the store would sometimes have to charge you more than a direct person.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And although I'm against the forever chemicals, I'll say that I still appreciate that Americana from Mr. Tupper, and to see it dissipate it's weird, but we're living in it's just weird times anyway. So it's not, oh, I'm so surprised. It makes sense to me.
That's wild.
Yeah. And
Let's go to their Wikipedia page. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. What you were going to do.
I'm just clicking onto their Wikipedia page to just see.
Yeah.
Multinational company. Founded by who? Mr. Tupper? Earl Tupper.
Earl Tupper.
Let's see if there's a picture of him.
I couldn't find a picture. Well, I didn't look for one.
Earl Silas Tupper, 1907 to 1983. Wow. He is, okay. Earl Tupper. Interesting, man.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were talking about founded in 1938, 86 years ago.
So that's why I say forever for some, and for not so forever for others. Let me see. There was something else that caught my attention about him also. Let's see. Maybe I have to just go back to what I was saying. So it wasn't necessarily that. It was more of how I also linked the Tupperware to the, people saying that they don't think the American dream is there anymore. They don't believe in the American dream. And by Earl Tupper creating Tupperware, that was the American part of the American dream. And it's just lost. That's the biggest take from it all, is that the dying America, and something like this that is America,
Dang.
is basically no longer. You have, like it says, the vintage pieces. I remember all that little, those
Yeah. Me too.
monochrome plastics and things.
We had a picture like that for our apple juice,
Yeah.
except ours was brown with a white top on it, and it had that button thing.
The button
I don't know what
was-
the button did really.
It's like I think it
Kind of helped seal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a specific
Like
word
suction or
that they
something.
use for it. I guess that took them to a whole nother level when they created that part.
Wow.
Those
I
things
forgot
right
about
there, I remember those. We had green ones, not that color green, like
Yeah, these are different colors.
yeah,
The orange was common, I guess, and yellow.
yeah,
But they're using like Easter colors for some weird reason.
Yeah.
It was more like this, and then there was like a drab green.
yeah. That's the one I remember.
Yeah.
the green one. Yeah, but yeah. Those were handy, useful items, tools, or
Like this kind of.
yeah. Matter of fact, even that little thing that's on there, I remember that as
Oh
well.
yeah, this little
yeah.
flowery thing.
I didn't even look at the
Yeah, we
the
had these
items
cups.
again.
I didn't know these cups were Tupperware. Man, we had all this stuff.
Yeah,
I had a little yellow one, brown one.
yeah.
Dang.
Because I remember Tupperware coming through, or my mom going to a Tupperware party, the Avon thing, and then also another one was, and I'm saying it because people come into the house, the World Books, the not necessarily Britannica, but it was encyclopedias.
Yeah.
The World Books, we had those, so all those remind me of that time,
Right.
that scale of time.
Oh, true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just no one. That's like 80s to me, even though
Right.
it was before that, but the 80s for sure.
Same.
Yeah, it's just crazy when I came across it, because it totally surprised me when I seen Tupperware filing for bankruptcy. Like, what?
Yeah.
Tupperware out of all people? And then I was like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all maybe this wasn't necessarily the destruction, but it was just the way of how America is going.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We don't. People aren't adapting, and people aren't sticking to the basics either.
Yeah.
Like you have to stick to the basics. Men leading, for example.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But you also have to adapt, and
Yeah.
and keep on creating, keep on inventing. Because
Right.
he invented,
Yes.
basically,
Right. Yeah.
or he came up with this,
He was able to
which was new and needed.
yeah. He was able to get those.
We could drop our cups and not have it break.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was a
Kids, it's
vision,
kid safe.
man. Yeah. Safe, kid friendly.
Sealed stuff.
Yeah. Kept everything right for the next day.
I mean, Bill seems like he wants to say something.
Yeah. What's up, Bill? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up with the other stuff that's in plastics now?
Oh yeah, the forever
The
chemicals.
forever chemicals, the PFAS, all those polyurethane. Well, what's his word?
Yeah, that's right. You said you disavow the forever
Yeah,
chemicals.
Yeah, the forever chemicals.
But we didn't know about that. And it
Yeah,
didn't
right
really
back
harm
then.
us.
Yeah, right.
Look at us. Do we look harmed?
Harm them, apparently.
Was that?
You think that
Oh,
that
it
was part
harmed-
of it
the
too? I
forever
guess that
chemicals
makes sense.
Harmed Tupperware.
Yeah, there
that
you
was
go.
probably just all propaganda.
Yeah.
What?
To scare the people away from using Tupperware anymore. Oh, I don't want to use plastic.
It
People are
worked.
using glass bottles now, BPA-free plastic.
He's got a BPA.
That's it. Yeah. The bisphenol A. Yeah.
PFAS, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
All that. Yeah. Yeah. All those things. You're
So
right.
what if we eat a credit card worth of plastic every week? Right?
No, I think
Maybe that's why
harmful.
that's why we don't have more white babies.
Yeah. They're becoming sterile for
So
sure from that
Tupperware
stuff.
is really,
Yeah.
we're like we're mourning the death of our enemy, Tupperware. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I totally look at it as just the, like I said, the America portion. But yeah, Teflon, DuPont, things like that. Those.
They are kind of our enemy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they weren't morally our enemy. Now we have our moral enemies that
True.
we're embracing.
True. Agreed. Yeah.
Although they are big companies. And
Yeah.
these big companies hire illegals. They're in bed with the destruction.
Yeah. Right.
Tupperware dying, America dying.
Yeah. Again, I don't agree with the forever chemicals, but yes. Yeah, for sure.
Bankrupt.
Bankrupt. It's
Not
wild. It's crazy.
But, okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, Trump went bankrupt and he's still kicking.
Yeah.
But Tupperware is not the same.
Yeah. Tupperware is not.
It
Donald
bounces. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the same. But, and people, things happen anyway. Trump bankruptcy, that happened. He,
Yeah. Life goes
rise
on.
back up. Yeah. Yeah. Keep it moving. Do better things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American dream. Let's get to that before we
Yeah.
get back to callers.
Yeah.
The American dream is dead.
Dead.
So says Trump, right? Didn't he say that? I think he
I
said
don't know.
the American dream is dead, but we can bring it back. I think
That
that's what he
sounds like
said.
something. I'm starting to reminisce on something like that. I thought I had that up. I have to go send it to
I might
you.
have it up.
Yeah. Every time. All right. So,
Daily Caller.
Daily Caller.
And this was from when you were on last time. We were
Yeah.
supposed to cover this.
Labor Day. Right.
Further away than it's ever been, the vast majority of U.S. adults believe the American dream is dead, according to a poll
Yes.
from Daily Caller. Want me to text it to you?
I
Or you
have it up. I just
Okay,
pulled it.
cool.
I just found it. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Don't give me this.
And here's your third. Only about a third of U.S. adults believe the American dream is still alive. From Wall Street Journal, NORC, which is the National Opinion Research Center.
NORC, National Opinion Research Center. I
yeah.
did not know that.
University. It's part of the University of Chicago.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
A social research organization, independently. Yeah. So, and this is also compared to 12 years ago, when more than half still believed
Wow.
that the American dream could be was true. I guess.
Wow. Still holds true.
Yeah.
So 12 years ago, they thought it still held true.
Yeah.
Half. But
Half
that
of
half
them,
has
yeah.
died. That 20% of those, 20% of the people have died, and the new whippersnappers, or whatever. Interesting, man.
Yeah. There's again, I'll say it again and again, that America is slowly dying.
Yeah.
Just
the fact that they believe it
Right.
shows that it
there you
shows
go.
that they're
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
But it's also because there's like two things happening. One, the people are lame and they have no hope.
Yeah.
And two, the government and these companies are lame and hopeless and giving no
They're
hope.
right.
you know,
And they're bringing, they're
destroying.
showing, yeah, they're showing what they're doing,
destroying
yeah,
opportunities, businesses,
Mm-hmm.
ushering in communism.
right. That's the part. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I say. They're showing their colors and how they push out their products and their advertisement, what they want to see, what they want America to be, what they want. That's how I see with the LGBT stuff, the defund the police, the women in sports things. I just seen an NBA commercial, a new NBA commercial yesterday, I guess during the baseball game, that is two superstars about to jump ball. The very next person they show, if I remember to say, is a female.
Oh,
and this
Lord.
is NBA. Like, come on. This is an NBA commercial. And then, they have one of the girls from Destiny's Child is in it, like a lead part. And it's just things like that. That they're pushing out. And there are going to be people that see that and say, it's not what I remember. It's not what I'm used to. And
Right.
I'm going to run away from it. And that shows that America is not what it was.
I mean, you see these. I disavow all those dirty, scantily clad Calvin Klein ad type things.
Right.
Where they in the '90s they showed
Mm-hmm.
all these women all like half naked and the men all fit and half naked, but they were
Yeah.
fit.
Right.
And that was wrong and degenerate. And now there's like this encouragement for people to give up on themselves and have just accept it and be body positive. There's just a
Yeah,
decline of quality. And like JLP commonly says, the millennials don't care about good quality. They just, good enough, do a halfway job.
Yeah. Right now, get it done.
Yeah.
Do whatever. I'll find something else or.
Good enough for government work, they used to say. It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah, and that shows, the hope thing that they've just given up. Or they also see, like, what's his name? The caller just called and said, do people see? Yeah, people do see.
Right.
Not all the people are going to see, but there are going to be people that do see. Yeah, but a lot of people, majority of people will not see what's going on or don't understand what's going on. Those that do, like I said earlier, they know something's going on, but they can't pinpoint it, can't say what it really is, but they know something's going on. And then there's the ones that just know, hey, this is not going to work out.
Yeah. What is the American dream, real quick?
I say the family, 2 kids and a wife, 2 kids and a wife, a home. Really, the father just working, not needing any other job, but one job, realistically, maybe house with a garage, 2 cars, maybe 2 cars. That's what I see. That's how I take the American dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought of it as not necessarily defined for any one person. You have your freedom and you have your opportunities. You can do what you want.
Gotcha.
You can, obviously hard work
Right.
is involved. A level of independence is involved. And I'm not even really sure that I liked the phrase dream, American dream, but I don't know where that came from, by the way.
Yeah.
But, the life, liberty, and it used to be life, liberty, and property.
Oh, okay. I was about to say pursuit of happiness.
And then they said life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Right.
But they're imposing on all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Imposing on life, imposing on liberty, definitely.
Definitely. You're right.
Imposing on property.
Yeah.
That's like totally out the window.
Yeah. That's why it's pursuit of happiness.
And it's a pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed any of that. I mean,
Right.
you can, as long as you keep your head down and be independent, and you can. But they do try to impose on it.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Yeah, at all costs.
And they
I
pretend like
believe.
they're going to try to help you with all those things. But if you let them help you with all those things, they can take that stuff away from you, which
Yeah,
they do.
They do. Yeah, if it's big enough to give
They
it to you,
control
big
how
enough
you
to
do
take
it,
it
how
away.
you live your life,
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's part of the homeownership issue.
Right. That's the independence.
Yeah,
That's like they say, a lot of people say that's the primary, a primary way of getting wealth and increasing your wealth. Because homes usually increase in value. I don't know. Interesting.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, the decline in the faith of the American dream coincides with the decline in the share of Americans who believe homeownership and financial security are attainable. Only 10% believe that becoming a homeowner is easy or somewhat easy. But that speaks to the can't do attitude,
okay, right,
as well as the
Yeah.
messed up.
right.
They did mess it up, but you don't give in to the can't do attitude.
Right.
People are like, oh, Jesse, it's not as easy as it was when you were there. Well, it is, and it isn't.
Yeah.
It's cushier to have like a base level. The base level, you're spoiled. Whereas the base level in JLP's day, you weren't as spoiled. I mean, they did have welfare,
Yeah.
so you were spoiled.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a mess.
Yeah. It is a mess. So it and also people in this with the income that they make is an issue that people throw around as if that doesn't necessarily hold you back from the homeownership or the American dream. You just, if you live beyond those means that you have, but it's just what's going to happen. You're going
Yeah.
to struggle.
Living within your means. And
yeah.
people are spoiled on that stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. And it just, you're going to always be behind if you go past what you have. So yeah, that was another point that I just saw something, and it made me it triggered that. Yeah. So
Interesting, man.
yeah, the American dream is pretty much there's I think there is one.
It's I think it's there for the can-do people.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, and I guess that's what another way of saying it. That for the people that
It just weeds
can
out
do
the
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a whole lot of us lamos.
But it still shows that, and I guess you still can do what you need to do or do what you want to do in a society that's dying.
Yeah.
You still can do all those things, you know.
Totally.
Yeah, if you have that attitude.
Yeah. Attitude, and you actually do the work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's still possible. You don't have to be, because the world is, your area is burning down, scorched earth. You still can be a salt of the world.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's speaking of home ownership, let's talk this black home ownership thing, because I want to get to it. We talked about it, and then we'll get to your calls, guys, and then we'll wrap up. We have 25 minutes to go. I have to end at 5 minutes till for Joel. Are you scheduled, Joel? Anyway, let's do this.
So I don't know how you want to start, but I'll just say again that a caller called in and said, and what sparked it. His call was that historically, he said, quote, historically, black people for a huge part of our history are less likely to be qualified for home loans. Something else was said, but it didn't quite pertain to this. And then another caller said, back in the 50s, we weren't doing fine.
Oh.
So
Right.
which that's just something people say.
Right.
That it just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to what really happened. So when the first statement was made, I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's a big statement." I've heard people say it before.
Right. That blacks didn't get home loans.
Right. But I came across a few different things but the main thing that I saw was how race. I looked up. I said race and home ownership,
Yeah.
and I came across this paper that two professors, one from Boston University, the other from Vanderbilt University, they came together with, and it shows the numbers of after the Civil War to present day, which was they had their numbers from 2007, but this paper was
Boomer.
January 2011. Hake struggling.
What am I looking at?
So after the Civil War and right up,
Sorry.
you want me to go ahead?
No,
Or-
go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
And
I
right
can't
up,
open this at least not in Excel. Let me see. Open with.
oh, here. I'll do this. I had the actual. 1 second. Let's see.
I was able to open it in my other thing here. Lord. I can probably open it in my. Go ahead. Keep on talking. I think I can make it work because I'll open it in my Apple thing. Hopefully.
Okay. So if you don't go to, oh man,
I'll save it as a
Section-
PDF. Save.
look at this link and then go to section 22.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. And yeah,
Gracias.
de nada.
Nice. That means thanks in Spanish. And that means it's nothing in Spanish.
So the paper was that they compiled was Race and Home Ownership from End of the Civil War to Present. Like I
Okay,
said.
yeah, I do have that one.
You have that one. So
Yeah.
this was on page 19, the chart the table that I gravitated to,
Okay.
because it had, it says occupancy, home ownership, occupancy per 100 households. So in 1870, 7.7%, they had 7.8% of blacks owned homes. And from 1870, that's 5 years after the Civil War, through each census, I guess, tracking point, it increased. There was an increase every 10 years consistently.
1870, 7.7% or 7.2, I don't know. 1880, 13.5.
Right.
And then 1890, 18.7, 1900, 21. So it was increasing.
Yeah, it was increasing, dramatically. And this is right after the Civil War. So clearly there were blacks were homeowners. They were becoming homeowners
Yeah.
at a pace, at a nice pace also. So
This is the percentage
yes,
rates
it
of
says per
homeowner
house, yeah,
occupancy
per 100 households.
per 100 households. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that is percentage,
Yes.
I think. All household types.
Yeah, and that's all out. All the other ones show like labor, people working 18 to 55 or something, like 65 or whatever. So this is the pure from 100 per 100 households. And so, like I said, every year, not every year, what is it? Every census count, I guess that's when they did it, that there was an uptick.
Yeah.
Like I said, 6% from 70 to 80, 5% from 80 to 90, and that's 1800s.
Yeah.
nearly another, what is that? Where am I at? Yeah, so whatever. And you can see during the Depression that it was a little closer in 1920. 30, you've seen it rise back up.
Oh yeah.
And then 40 and 50, between 40 and 1950, that was a big increase, 11%.
Oh
which, so these are all before, and that's my point. This is all before any type of the civil rights movement, specifically before 64.
Right.
So there were no issues. Whatever the Jim Crow laws, the redlining, all that, whatever discriminatory actions, blacks were still
Buying land,
they were
owning
buying
homes,
They were-
buying buildings.
Yeah, no
Yep.
problem whatsoever at all.
That's
So,
wild.
and then you get to 60 and 70 in between there, you see 3 years. And then in 1968 was the Fair Housing Act. And
Oh, geez.
that's where the basically the issue of, you can see it almost like plateau.
Yeah, it just stagnated
Yes,
at under 50%.
right,
And the whites barely increased as well.
right.
They were increasing, they increased, they decreased, and then they increased depending on the whites, right?
Right.
Who knows? We had a whole lot of white immigrants, and then a lot of people moved to cities, rented.
Right. So, yeah, they did increase,
Yeah.
and they have continually increased. Now,
Wow.
again, I said civil rights movement, that act, the 64, Fair Housing Act of 68 is where, pretty much all these other ones started coming in, programs, different type of programs. And there were, of course, prior to that 68 Act, there were still programs, Fannie Mae, I guess Freddie Mac and Jenny Mac, things
Yeah.
like whatever, Jenny Mae, that were given. They were I guess part of the, not loan, but they were the government corporation part, where it was, I guess it was I don't want to say a non-G. I don't know how you would use it. They were just Congress, was financial, like, systems within that Congress, that was created by Congress. I guess that's how the best way to put it. So before, I had just seen, I didn't know anything about it, that insurance companies were like the original means of home ownership. That was, instead of a mortgage, you would go through an insurance company, and they would, however they did the transaction, it would be insurance company based. So all the, whatever it was, if it was back then like I guess like a Liberty Mutual, or, well, Progressive, or whatever insurance company you use, they would hold your title or your deed. They would distribute. They would be the transaction, and until the government got involved with it and made it bank related. They preferred that.
really?
Yeah. So that was around, I think that was maybe in the early 30s.
Communism.
Man.
No, I don't know. I don't understand that. It's interesting. It's mind blowing, kind of.
It's not. It shouldn't have been. It is communism in the sense that that's not anything that is really granted by the government. That's not their job to do that.
Totally.
So that's one of the issues. Yeah, there's all these different type of acts and HUD being involved in
Housing and urban
Yeah.
development. Yeah, they shouldn't even exist. That's crazy, huh?
right. They so, like, when I was saying about the so the uptick. So there, you seen the constant. We showed the constant uptick until '68
Yeah.
with that act, the Fair Housing Act, and after the government's involvement, any type of progression for the blacks to be homeowners were leveled out all the way through until this day, until
Wow.
2023. I've seen something say 42%, and then I've seen the census number say 45%. But on here, where's 45% at 1980? Am I
Yep.
right?
1980, 45%. Yep.
So from 1980 until 2023, it's still 45%. There's no movement. It fluctuated throughout
course.
the decades, but to be, it's the exact same. It's 45.2. Is that what it says?
45.2, 1980.
And then the census on that Excel spreadsheet has 45.7% black homeownership.
Wow.
And I say that to say that the civil rights movement, again, when it gets involved, when that happened, when that 64 Act happened, it hurt blacks. I've said it specifically in the sports world, baseball specifically. I've said other things also myself, and in the housing for blacks, it destroyed anything that was positive that would help, the so-called help that it would do, the turnaround, like I said, the red line and Jim Crows and all that. It didn't do anything at all. It was better during Jim Crow. They still were able to get 4 or 5% each year,
Yeah.
or each decade, which if you say that homeownership is a reason for wealth, then there was no problem with it back then.
Yep.
From what I hear, they say it was the worst times during those times, those Jim Crow times and all this stuff, but clearly it couldn't have been. There's no way it could have been. There may have been mishaps or things, people did certain things, whatever.
Yeah.
Which JLP says he enjoyed it. He didn't see anything.
He says that blacks, he himself says that they were buying land and
Right.
owning their own property,
Yeah.
starting businesses,
Yeah, and
going to college,
right.
holding office. Sometimes it wasn't the right office. But yeah,
Yeah.
history is a lie.
Yeah, right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, people stand by that lie also.
Yeah.
They'll ride the lie out. And I noticed it happens all the time. I noticed it a while ago. I don't know if I talked about it. I thought we did, but the literacy rate from like after the Civil War, when they always say blacks weren't able to read, whatever, that was supposed to be the case, that can't allow your slaves to be literate.
Right.
So
Some of them broke the rules.
Right.
Sam Houston, for example.
there was a phenomenon where, like right at 1880, there was like a huge increase of literacy amongst post slavery for
Yeah.
the blacks that were illiterate.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and it just jumped. So that's not an excuse.
Right.
They blame things that's not really there, and
And now their literacy is horrible.
yeah. Just like with that I said, the LeBron James school that
Right.
he has, those kids are just wasting their time almost. They could go somewhere else and probably get a decent education, or maybe learn to read and do math or whatnot, arithmetic and things. But yeah, I'll say the Civil Rights Act was horrible for blacks. And in the housing market, the housing, owning homes was a prime example. They were fine before
Yeah.
the Civil Rights Act came along,
They were better off
They were
without all of this
much better off with this government.
anti-discrimination,
Yeah.
meddling, victimhood,
Yeah, it's strangulated.
helping, quote unquote,
Yeah, anytime the government
Wow.
gets involved, it
makes
hurts.
it worse.
Yeah, and this was a prime example of it. That we're gonna give these people opportunities and money and low interest rates. Oh, you only need $200 to afford a home, and they make the situation worse. These people that from 1980, 45% black homeownership to 2023, black homeownership is still at 45%. There's no way when before it was gradually increasing.
Tupperware. Everything's going down since the 80s.
Yeah, right. So that was my what I wanted to bring up and say
Cool,
that's
man.
just not true to where blacks weren't afforded this opportunity or these loans, so-called loans, and the gap that's made is government made.
Right.
It's not natural.
Yeah.
The naturally free market shows that everyone could prosper. Everyone will grow.
That's why I question the so-called healthcare crisis, because I suspect that their meddling made it a crisis if it
Right.
was a crisis, and now their meddling is overall probably making it worse.
Yeah.
There was one other thing that you had put, and then we'll get to
Okay.
calls because we got to wrap up. We got less than 10 minutes, it looks like. You had sent me this: housing vacancies and homeownership. Is this what you sent me?
That's what I just sent now
Okay.
too. It was 22 is the one that I
Table 22.
yes.
Okay.
And
Let me
that-
just show this real quick. Homeowner rates by race and ethnicity. Oh, Lord.
I think this started either in 90.
That's another Excel document. I can't open it.
You can't open
It's
it.
the same thing.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought it was maybe because you did.
I
a wrong transfer
I was
or
able to
something.
do
Yeah.
it on my Mac, and I could take a screenshot, but anyway, we get the gist of it. We get the gist. I appreciate it.
Sure thing. I was gonna say if you want to see it from here, but this doesn't even have the races, the ethnicities of anything that I'm looking at on my phone right now. But I knew which one it was because it's steady. Like I said, steady. I could tell that it's blacks that's at 45% from 94 almost every year up until 2023.
Yeah.
Just without even looking at blacks, whites, Hispanics. The Civil Rights Act was not a positive thing for blacks
Yeah.
at all.
Let's get to John in Kentucky. He's on the line. He's been on hold for a bit of time over here. John in Kentucky, you're live with Bigg Bump and Hake.
Bigg Bump.
Yo, what's up,
Man,
John?
I didn't learn anything from your presentation, man. I'm lost, man. I just heard a bunch of mumbling, grumbling. So I just want to get your main point on what you're trying to prove. What are you trying to prove?
I'm not trying to prove anything. There was just one of Hake's callers called in and said blacks have always been,
Oppressed?
I guess, derailed from home loans and things like that, and couldn't get homes, and that's just not true.
So did that evidence you provide prove that it was equal or fair to the races, or did white?
I don't know.
whites benefit more?
All I know is that, like I said, between 70 and the Civil Rights Act and a little after, blacks were gradually decreasing the gap in home
So you're
ownership.
saying it was getting better? You're saying it was getting better?
Yeah, that's what happened. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what happened.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question. 'Cause I know you don't got a lot of time. Would you rather go back to a Jim Crow type era, like right now?
I don't know, man.
Would you
asked me
like to be a second-class citizen again?
I don't know. You said again. I never was.
I mean, Those people were, though. The time you're
But
talking about, that era.
they still did have what I'm saying about home ownership. They did have. They were increasing their stability in America.
But you can admit that it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. It was getting better, in your opinion, I guess.
It was getting
but
better.
It wasn't fair.
It was getting better.
What you know about fair?
I know about fair. Everybody knows about fair, hey?
Everybody thinks they know about fair. I don't think people know about fair. The
I
stuff
know
stuff that you think is fair isn't fair.
I know that you guys claimed that it was an unfair election, so what about that?
I don't claim that. I think it was totally fair.
Yeah,
for the sake of the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Exactly. You're proving my point that nobody agrees that
No, I'm
unfair.
Not. Hey, y'all already complaining about the election. It ain't even happened yet. It's like dead even, and the right is already talking about that it's rigged. How is that possible?
Well, you're changing the subject, man. I got to wrap it up. It's good to talk to you, man.
From one thing to the next.
John in Kentucky, thanks for calling. Take care. All right, bye. Shall we get to Maze in Dayton, Ohio? She wants to talk about Tupperware and stuff. Maze, you're live with Bigg Bump, and we have a short amount of time. Make your point.
I do it quick. Bigg Bump, you ain't telling us nothing. What happened to the black farmers? They lost all of their land that they had because of what? They couldn't get a loan like everybody else got. And that's why they had a lawsuit. Would you explain that since you think you're telling people stuff?
I didn't say anything about the black farmers.
Now, it's not a home, it's land. The land that they
But
lost.
I said homeowners. I'm specifically talking about homeowners, not the farmers.
And those people out in California that just got their land back.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
They just got it back from a lawsuit.
Maze.
Why did they get it?
Maze, what was I talking about? What was I talking about?
I didn't California. You're talking about people owning land and where.
I didn't say that. I said home ownership.
Well, home ownership is land.
I just said home ownership.
Home owner land. It's not the home, it's the land.
I said home ownership.
Home ownership
increased from after the Civil War, from 1870 to 1980. Black home ownership increased, and it was stagnant from 80 to 2023.
You don't know what you're talking about. You're just running your trap.
You are too. Yes, you are, Maze. That's fine.
That's pretty rich, Maze.
Yeah, Maze. I know.
I know. I heard you your trap.
I just told you. I've already said redlining. I've already said Jim Crow. Maze, you don't even know what you're talking about. I just said from 70 to 1980.
Morgan and all those different banks.
We're
not doing right. That's why they were getting lawsuits. They didn't get sued just because they weren't doing nothing wrong.
We weren't talking about that.
Those people that were trying to buy houses.
I wasn't talking about that. That doesn't make sense either.
Why they don't own land and this and that. But you don't.
I said the Fair Housing Acts, all the government involvement is the reason why blacks are stagnant.
Do you own your home?
I gotta go, Maze. We gotta close out.
That's your problem. Have a good.
You too. Bye, Maze. I didn't hang up on her, so we got the hard click. Man, Kyle in Massachusetts, I owe you. Matthew in California. I can't get to you. Thanks for coming on, Bigg Bump.
Sure thing. Thanks,
Ways of the World by Bigg Bump.
I don't know. This might be a little much for Hake report.
Oh, did this cuss? I saw it 90 seconds, so I'm like, we got 90 seconds.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's a
I'll
few
keep
things
it kind
in
of
here.
low.
Yeah.
Tell the people how to find you.
You can find me on Twitter, BIGG_BUMP, Instagram, BIGG_BUMP, Bigg Bump on YouTube, Truth Social, BIGGBUMP. You'll find me. I'll be there. So BIGGBUMP.
Nice.
Yeah.
And with an underscore in there. And some of the major platforms like Twitter and which is X. At the end, in the last 20, 30 seconds, does it cuss? Or can I go full blast?
Right here, it curses right here.
Okay. Oh, yeah, oops.
The Obama part. Zara. Yeah, this is fine.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Joelle. Joelle is coming back, guys. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Bye. Thanks again, man.
Thank you.